Hello, I'm talking, and this is the very first meeting of Mandy's TBR book club. And so if you're not familiar, I am Mandy from Mandy's TBR, and the TBR is to be read, and it's my TBR list of stack of books that I've been trying to get through. And so I thought, like, maybe you guys would want to get through it with me. There's some good books in there, and I think that we can have a lot of fun. So, for the very first book, for the very first book club meeting, is A Dark Starless Forest by Sarah Hollowell. And it is a young adult contemporary fantasy with lots of queer and body positive diversity, and yeah, there's horror and magic, and it is a lot of fun. So how I think this book club is going to work is that I'm going to do this video, where I talk about it, kind of do a review and share some of my thoughts on it. And then I'll be talking with other readers in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook and on my Instagram, where I'll be sharing the videos. Eventually, I think I'm going to have like some kind of hangout space for us to talk about, but since this is the first one, I want it to be like a really casual, people just drop in and share their thoughts. But also keep in mind, because we're sharing thoughts in a book club, that there will be lots of spoilers about the book. So I'm going to make sure and try to hide things if I can, but just be aware if you're in the comments and stuff on this kind of stuff, you'll probably see spoilers. And there will be spoilers in this video too, so just be aware of that. I do think, though, even if you are kind of spoiled on it, though, that it won't ruin your enjoyment at all. There were a couple things that I figured out early in the book, and it still didn't hurt my enjoyment. It was still just like a lot of fun. So even if you do get some spoilers, I don't think anything will be ruined for you. So let's dive in. The book focuses on Derry, and I was a little confused when I was reading the back, so like Derry and her siblings live with this guy Frank out in the woods or whatever. But I actually thought like it made sense once I got in there with Derry and her siblings and things like that. I was really excited that Derry was just fat, and the way she described was fat. And they mean like parts of her body. There were no euphemisms. Like there's a part where like with her arm getting stabbed, and like no, it's a fat thick part of her arm, and like I have a fat thick part of her arm. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's just what it is. And so I like that it was nice. There's no real euphemisms. It just was, and no one was offended or talked about it. It was just some of the characters were fat, some of the characters were thin, some were short, some were tall. You know what I mean? There was just how it was. That's one of the things that I really liked about the book. I mean, obviously, the diversity was great, but I really loved the magic. I thought it was really interesting, kind of the way it was described, and I got Derry's pull to it. It did really seem like, the way she described it seemed really, like, exciting and fun, and I get it. I would love to do what she could do with the flowers. I mean, I can barely keep plants alive. I've got one plant alive, and that's, like, it, and I'm pretty excited about that one. So, yeah, I mean, I think her powers would be very cool. I thought the other girls' powers were pretty cool, too. I did want to see more of some of them, especially, like, London's, but I think the main reason they didn't is because, or the main reason that they, that Sarah chose not to was because of, London was so young and his power sounded so brutal that I think they didn't want London to be inflicting that kind of, and I get that would have been super traumatic for London. Like I would have liked to seen it, but not at the risk of traumatizing a very traumatized child who just went through a lot. So I understand that. Also, I mean, I don't know if other people would talk about it, but I definitely think I don't know. So I don't know. I haven't read any reviews of this, so I don't know if other people have brought this criticism or if I'm just pulling it out of my hat. But I do think that people might criticize the way like Frank just ended up with all these kids, like people would just give them their kids kind of thing. And it's actually like rehoming unruly children is like this really dark, real thing that happens in the adoption system in the world. And it happens not just with kids who've been adopted, although it is more common with kids who've been adopted. But even, birth children, it's just, what do you do if your kid gets to be too much or you don't know how to handle it? And I think that that's really kind of, because of the way that they're sheltered and stuff, the siblings themselves can't explore it, but I think what Frank did all sounded, unfortunately, very realistic and very plausible, especially the way it turns out that some of the parents were tricked into thinking that he just could help them, and so I think that, yeah. Frank also, I did like the character of Frank. I've been watching Better Call Saul, and like this is not at all how he was described, but I could not stop picturing him as Lalo Salamanca. Like every time, I couldn't help it. Like that's not how he was. But I think it was also the way that his smile is so charming, but he's also so menacing, and you don't know where you stand with him. That's very like Lalo energy, and so Frank definitely does have Lalo energy, although physically he was not described that way. But that was just what I could picture the whole time. Yeah, but in general, there was a lot of cool stuff that I liked how things were handled. I would say one of my only, I guess not even like really a qualm. It was just Derry, because we get into Derry's like 16 years old and she's been living there for, I don't remember how many years, 4, 6 years, something like that. And so I think it's 6, 7 years actually. Yeah, because I think she was like 9. Trying to remember, but anyway, so she's kind of grown up in this, but she's now getting to a point where a lot of teenagers do, where they're more willing to question stuff and start realizing that authority doesn't actually know anything, and so that makes sense that she's kind of questioning Frank and suspicious of him, and also he's a suspicious guy, but I think it kind of makes his inevitable betrayal a little less impactful, because I like the way that Elle viewed him. I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would have written it different. I mean, and this is just, it's not even like a criticism. Like, I mean, because I thought it was still really well written, and I really liked Elle's character. But I guess I wish, I don't know how it could have been done, but I wish that we, the reader, could have seen the confrontation between Elle and Frank, because she really did think that he was great, and she was coming to help, and she was trying to help everyone, and she clearly saw something. I mean, I think I can understand why, because the first person narration, Derry doesn't know what happened, and she's kind of piecing it together, and I think it makes sense why it's left the way it is, but I still, just as a curious reader, wish I could have seen more of that confrontation, because I think that would have been really interesting. At the beginning, and this isn't even this is just whatever. At the beginning of the book, so there's 9 siblings, 7 girls, and 1 non-binary person. Non-binary, NB person, right? That would be correct. That's right. Anyway, so there's these 9 siblings that are living together, and it was a lot of characters at first, and I have this issue with a lot of books that introduce a lot of characters like that it takes me a minute to kind of figure out who they are and to kind of get into it a bit. And so it did take me a minute, but I think that's part of just me reading this book. But at the end, I felt like I had a pretty good grasp of who the characters were, and they all had pretty distinct personalities, with the one exception just being the little twins, London and Olivia, because especially with what was going on with their age and them being twins who were like so glued together, they had a distinct personality as twins from everyone, but they didn't think they had a strong individual personality. But everyone else I felt like really did, and I don't think it's even problematic. I think it's, given what's going on, it makes sense. I would have liked to know more of what was in Frank's information, though. Again, it doesn't really like add. I mean, it wouldn't really add anything in a way, because it's also kind of just like made up science in a way, because like these people aren't really, this isn't a true book. But I would love to see more of what's in the notes and stuff. But I think there's still potential. I know that Sarah Halliwell's talking about other books that are written in kind of the same universe that aren't direct sequels, so maybe we'll see more of this kind of stuff. Whether witches or alchemists or whatever, I think there's definitely potential. Oh yeah, there's definitely potential to connect this to other worlds in the way it was kind of ended. I mean, the story felt concluded. I don't have any like issues with the resolution, but it's still open-ended enough where this work can be connected to other work. It just sort of reminded me of my book Freaks. Not like, obviously not in any kind of negative way, like I definitely don't think anything was copied or anything like that, and the magic was different. But it's kind of the idea of a found family of a bunch of different misfits together are somewhere, and there's something in the woods. I mean, it's kind of, but anyway, I also had the similar problem too, even with writing my own book, of trying to give a large, because in Freaks, there was that traveling carnival, and so there's like a large group of people in there, and trying to make each of them distinct without overwhelming the reader it's a hard balance to do, and I do think that Sarah Halliwell does a good job with it. Like I said, it took me a minute to warm up to the characters, but I don't know, that's just how it is. As for the side characters, I do think that maybe Violet and Winnie were my favorites. I really liked Elle too. I do. Elle is. I like characters like that, even though I don't know. Maybe I know that they're kind of the snitches. I don't know. I have sympathy for the snitches because they're just trying to do the right thing, kind of thing. And that was it. Is Elle just wanted to? She just wanted to do the right thing and take care of everyone. And the only problem was she put her trust in the wrong person. And it wasn't even like a problem. This guy tricked her, and so. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I would love to see. The other thing that I thought was super cool, and I thought would make it so much fun, is because you have this like isolated little, like, quaint. It's almost like I kind of pictured almost cottagecore with their little farm and everything out there, and you've got these girls, and they're all, and you, instead of being all like Laura Ingalls Wilder with their fashion, because of Violet's ability to glamour, like I'm picturing them all in like fabulous clothes all the time, because they get to, you know what I mean? Because she can make them look all fancy. It's kind of, they didn't go into it too in depth, but that is how I pictured them all in like really, really super stylish and trendy, and a lot of probably a lot of outfits that would be similar to the 27 movies they watched over and over again. I would also love to see the list of the 27 movies that I watched over and over again. Some of them were the ones that I really enjoyed. They watched Anastasia and Jurassic Park and Little Mermaid. I mean, they're all like pretty good choices. Although I absolutely understand and agree with what she was saying. It was very like specific about how everything had a happy ending, and it was all very safe and cloistered to make them feel comfortable. The flowers were cool. I mean, there were just like so many cool little details and touches. And I would definitely think it'd be fun to see as some kind of, like a live action or a cartoon or even a comic book, to really just see some of the stuff that they were conjuring, and some of the stuff that I would love to just see the way the flowers grow on her and things like that. It sounded really interesting and really cool, and yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed, The Dark Starless Forest. I would highly recommend it for anyone who is a fan of YA fantasy horror. I mean, I know that this definitely had horror elements. I didn't think it was too gory or graphic. I mean, your mileage may vary, though. I thought it was, really well done, and it was fun. It was a quick, easy read, which I like. I know I don't think that Sarah Halliwell has any other books right now, but I know she has another one, something like that's coming out next year, maybe, called stalks behind the corn, or I'm not remembering it very well, but so any information I have will go here, so you can check those out. I would get the book, and if you like my book Freaks, I think you should check this book out, because I think that you'll like it. And if you like this book, maybe check my book Freaks out. You know what I mean? They're similar, they're different, but there's enough similarities where I think you would probably enjoy. If you enjoy one, you'll probably enjoy the other, maybe. Next week's book club will be at the end of June, because I don't want to do an exact month, because I've got the second book in the Seven Fallen Hearts saga coming out June 24th, so I didn't want to just kind of have too much going on right in that thing. So it's going to be the end of the month on June 30th. I'll be doing the next book club. In that book club, I don't know what we're going to be reading yet. I'm going to do a poll online of a few books and let you guys pick, but I will announce within the next week what book has been chosen for the next book club, so you guys will still have a month to read. That's also kind of why I want to do it that way. I just feel like, giving people a month to read is good, because I just want I want it to be accessible. Some people have a lot of time to read, some people don't have a lot, and some people are slow readers, fast readers. I just want it to be accessible, so once a month I think seems good. So the next book not chosen yet. I've got some ideas, and I'll be sharing them all over. So make sure you look around in the next few days where I'll be sharing my post on it, because I want people to vote on it. I want it to be a book that we all want to read, and I want it to be good and fun. And then also I'll have more information about the next book club coming up, like where it's going to be. And again, I'll probably do like a hangout or something. But for this one, yeah, just go in the comments and stuff, and I'll comment back. Even if it's like a few days later, feel free to comment, because I'll be checking in all weekend long on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And so I just want to hear what you guys think. If you guys also have other recommendations, like throw it out too. If there's books that you really want to read, or books that you think people might like that are similar to the one we just read, go ahead and say those too, because I'm always looking for more recommendations. Even though, as I said, my TBR is quite large. But it's good. It's good. So yeah, just let me know what's going on. I'm really excited about this. I like this book, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. So yeah. And make sure, as usual, if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of the book clubs or any of the other videos that I've got going on. I also do announcements. I just did a cover reveal the other day, and I'll have more cover reveals in the future. So if you don't want to miss any of those, hit like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. I really enjoy doing these things, and it's very silly for me to do this when no one's watching. So it's really good when you guys watch and we get to have this stuff, and I think it's kind of fun. I hope it's kind of fun. But yeah. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and happy reading.